Michele has a place called Monkey's House. And Michele, tell us, first off, I love the name. I love the name. I can't wait to hear about it, but sometimes I call dogs little monkeys. So it's just such a lovely name, and it has such a good, but tell us a little bit about how you got started.
I got started the way most life-changing events happen. It was by accident. I was fostering for a local shelter, and actually ended up with a dog that had a brain tumor, and no one knew it, and I could see something was wrong. And her name was Goldie. She was a beautiful golden retriever. She was emaciated, but she was everything that's amazing about that breed. Loving, sweet, had an athletic stride. I couldn't get her to eat. I couldn't get her to stop staring at a corner. And I ended up sneaking her off to my vet and paying the bill. And then the shelter really wasn't set up for foster homes. It bucked the system. They wanted to do a surgery on her. And I kept saying, this is the wrong move for this dog. And I found out who the surgeon was going to be, and I made an appointment in their office like I was a regular patient, and sat there all calm and cool until the vet came in, and then I burst into tears. And I said, this isn't my dog. I'm responsible for this bill, but things are wrong with her that I can't seem to communicate, and I just feel like surgery is the wrong move for this dog. And I can't tell you, it was like a Tuesday night. It was the last appointment. This vet could have been tired. She was amazing. And she told me my foster dog was dying. And she left. I felt empowered, devastated, but empowered by her words, her kindness, her empathy. So we adopted Goldie. We put her to sleep very shortly thereafter, and I promised to love her forever. But my frustration, my journey with her, my taking her to the vet, using my birthday money to pay for her appointments, that led me to the realization that there was zero resources for dogs with terminal diagnoses in the shelter system. This was before GoFundMe's, and there's nothing. And if very often it's just being an astute observer that helps you understand that something more is going on. And there's nothing for these dogs. So after Goldie, we got asked frequently to take sick dogs, and we couldn't keep up the pace. And I kept trying to think of a way to do this. Who wants to write bylaws? Who wants to think about this kind of thing? So we had a little guy named Monkey who really fit the model. He was brought to the shelter. He was a Heinz 57, tiny little thing with teeth everywhere, in congestive heart failure. They asked if I would take him. I said, sure. I didn't feel drawn to him. I just felt like I was doing the right thing. And he rocked our world. He changed our lives. The vet, the same thing. I went being a retired registered nurse, and having had other dogs with congestive heart failure, I went to the shelter vet and I asked for some scripts for some meds that I needed a vet for. And I said, I'll pay for them. And he said, no, he's a little shelter dog. You'll have him for a week, maybe 3 weeks, just enjoy him. And that triggers me. They're not a little shelter dog. They're a being, they're a life, they're worth everything. They're worth fighting for. So like I always did, we adopted him, got him all the specialists that he needed, and he was with us for 17 vibrant months and inspired us. The grief for him was so bad. It was so bad that started me. I started a Facebook page for my husband, and I put it privately, and I just said Monkey's House. And that pushing through that grief, it gave us a way to honor him and a way to really get things moving.
So sad to me that they end up in these places and then they just wait to die and nobody adopts them. And that's really what Monkey's House does, is provide. It's not about you getting dogs and healing them and finding homes for them. I want that to be very clear, because not that there's not a place for that, there is, but Monkey's House takes the terminally ill and provides them a loving place. How many dogs can you take?
It depends on the population. So we're free range, which means if you were to come over right now, you would have to sit on the floor because the dogs have all the sofas and the chairs and the bed.
And I would be in heaven.
That's kind of our goal. No room for people.
Yeah.
But they are crated for meals for safety purposes.
Sure.
But the rest of the time they're free range. So there's a delicate balance of, dogs that are blind have to kind of feel their way around. Dogs that are arthritic don't want to be bumped into. So there's a delicate balance of what's going on. I would say I can be very busy with 15 dogs, and I can be, depending on their needs, and I can be doing just fine with 30 dogs.
Right.
It depends on the population and what's going wrong.